Hi, welcome to our lesson today. Our lesson is for EFL, ESL students at the level A1.2. This is a grammar lesson. We're going to have 30 PowerPoint slides here, so I would recommend this lesson being for roughly a minimum an hour. Okay, if you're especially tutorial, I would take an hour to do this lesson. Maybe use our 1 hour 50 minutes as well, which we can engage a little bit more with the lesson. That's if you want to take tutorial lesson. But this is a self-taught, self-recorded lesson for you to help you in the grammar of the past simple and regular verbs. The past simple and regular, where we're going to form the past simple or some common regular verbs. Remember, verbs can be run, jump. Verbs are action words usually, so we can. But in this lesson, we're going to form the past simple of the irregular verbs to go and to do. So please bear with me. I will use the 5 modules in this lesson: grammar, reading, writing, listening, and speaking. If you do need, I do stress, we do live tutorials as well at eflacademyhub.com. So if you need private lessons or you want to take a group lesson, which is a minimum of 1, a maximum of 5 in the group lessons, please have a look at our prices and our courses on our website, www.eflacademyhub.com. Okay, so let's start the lesson. So if you see today the first sentence being I visited Japan and Korea last summer. The sentence I visited Japan and Korea last summer follows this structure. It follows this structure. It's a subject, it's a verb. The verb is the past simple. Visited. It's actually the perfect verb. It's a perfect as well. So it's I visited, past simple, the object plus the time in this one. Last summer is the time. So the subject is I, verb is past simple, visited, object Japan and Korea, and the time is last summer. So this this um, this structure is typical for sentences in the past simple tense, indicating a completed action at a specific time in the past when it happened. It's already happened, remember, because it's a past sentence, so it's already happened. But this tells us when it did in a specific time. So the specific time was last summer. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the past simple. We use the past simple to talk about finished actions. Finished actions in the past. Add plus ed to the infinitive of regular verbs. A regular verb. So to form the past simple. So we have the infinitive here. The infinitive verbs are visit, wash, walk, stay. Wash is an infinitive verb. Enjoy and relax. These are all infinitive. Past simple. Turning them from infinitive to past. If you notice, we have the ed on the end of all of them. So visited, walked, stayed, enjoyed, relaxed. So we're turning them from the present, the infinitive, which is the present, to the past simple. So present simple to past simple. On to the next one. Verbs ending in Y. We add the IED to some verbs that end in Y to form the past simple. So we add the IED to some verbs ending in Y. So again, infinitive, we've got carry, study, try, cry, hurry. The past simple of these is carried, studied, tried, cried, hurried. You can't actually see the cried or the hurried. I can't actually move my... But here we would have CRIED. So we're using the IED rather than the Y. Okay, we're changing it. We're basically changing from the Y to the IED to make it a past simple verb that ends in Y. We change it to IED. So let's move on to subject matters. Regular verbs in the past simple are the same for all subjects. All subjects. So we've got the present simple here. I play basketball on Saturdays. You watch TV at home. He visits his grandparents. She listens to music. We stay in a hotel. They study at university. These as well, all these present simple are all active voice. They're all active voice. Remember, our active voice was subject, verb, object. Our passive voice, which is the opposite, is object, verb, subject. So for example, Anthony, subject, has, verb, a pen, object, active voice. Passive voice is the subject, the pen. Belongs, verb, to Anthony, subject. So all we do with the passive voice sentence is we turn it around. So remember, with active voice, it is the action is done by the subject. The subject is doing the action. With passive voice, the object is receiving the action. The object is receiving the action. So all these present simples are active voice. Now if we look at passive, we've got passive simple here with the ED on the end. We're having the ED. We're changing it with the ED. We're just adding the ED. So I played basketball last Saturday. You watched TV at home last night. He visited his grandparents last weekend. She listened to music yesterday. We stayed in an hotel. They studied at university. So with the past simple, all we're doing is changing it with the ED. So if you see the ED, you know it's a past simple. You know that the main verb, the auxiliary verb, is past. It's not present. Right, let's carry on. So practice pronunciation with the past of these verbs. So what I would want you to do within this is speak them, okay, with the past. So change these: talk, walk, play, watch, listen, study. Studied. So do we use the Y? No, we change the Y, don't we? Remember, we change the Y. We change the Y for the IED. So it's STUDID, studied. So we change, remember, we replace the Y with the IED to make it a past. So with this slide, I want you to practice pronouncing the past simple of these verbs. When you've done that, let's move on. So we would complete the sentences with a regular past verb here. So a regular past simple verb. So we have number one, I, gap, to work this morning. Number two, we, plus a gap, TV last night. Number 3, E, a gap, South America last summer. Number 4, we, a gap, engineering at university. We, gap, shouted the meeting. So for an example, we watched TV last night. Watched, W-A-T-C-H-E-D. Watched. Because the present simple watch doesn't have the Y, so we're not changing it for an IED, we're just adding the ED on the end. So we watched TV last night. So complete all the sentences within this slide. Write them down as well. Try and write them down. Fill them in. Fill the gaps in, because they're and speak them. Don't just think them. Okay? Don't just read them. Write them down, speak them. By doing that, you're killing 3 birds with 1 stone. You're reading, you're speaking. Well, you're killing 4 birds. You're listening, you're writing. Okay, and if there's any words we don't know that you're not sure of, excuse me, that you're not sure of, find out the definitions of them words and find out a similar word. Find out a similar word. What's a similar word to watching? Looking, maybe. So let's move on. So once you've completed the sentences, we go on to the next one. So we've got the ED or the IED. So what we're going to do on this slide is put them into the correct categories. Okay. So for example, would wash be ED or washed IED? Remember the previous, what we discussed? If it's with a Y, it's... Okay, let's move on. Past time phrases. Let's look at the past time phrases. We use past time phrases to say when you did something. Okay, when you did something. Paid time phrases usually go at the end of a sentence. A past time phrase usually goes at the end of a sentence. So the past simple sentences. I visited Amsterdam. I played tennis. We watched that movie. They're just past simple sentence. If we put using a past time phrase, we put when it specifically happened, when it happened. So I visited Amsterdam last year. I played tennis yesterday. We watched that movie a few days ago. So that's past time phrase added on to the past simple sentence. And that goes at the end of the sentence. Remember, it can't go at the beginning, because if we look at the past simple sentence structure, subject, I, visited, verb, Amsterdam, object, active voice, not passive, active voice. Okay. Time phrases. Do the same with time phrases. Put them in the right category. Okay. Are they present or the past? What is now? Is it a present or is it a past? Well, now it's happening now, so it would be present. Past, it's already happened. So fill this in. Again, write them down for me. Don't just say them. Write them down and speak them. Okay. Choose the correct option. In here, we've got 4 to choose from. So we're choosing the correct option. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 option. We have 4 gap fills to do. So I watched TV. Is it last? Is it yesterday? Is it now? Ago? Have a guess. Well, don't have a guess. Again, speak it. The reason you speak it rather than thinking it, number 1, because you will hear your pronunciation. You will hear yourself speak. So I watched TV yesterday night. That doesn't sound right, that can't be. Okay, so I watched TV now night. No, that doesn't sound right, does it? So always speak it as well, not just read it, speak it, because it will help with your, well, it'll help you with your pronunciation, and it'll also inform you if it sounds correct as well, if the answer sounds correct. So let's put the sentences in the past simple and add a time phrase. So the example, I cooked dinner. Let's put it in the past simple. I cooked dinner yesterday. Again, write them for me. Write them down for me. Then we're practicing on your writing set skills. Below on this slide, on this part, we're going to write two sentences using the word below. Now, the words below are last night, yesterday, ate, watched, visited, stayed, enjoyed, played, ago, studied. Practice writing two sentences using each of the words below. So, for example, I played football last night. Past, I played. Ed on the end of play. I played football last night. Making it a time phrase as well. Making it a past time phrase because it's when we did something specific at that time. So I played, I being the subject, played being the past verb, football being the object, which is a noun. So subject, it's active voice with using the time phrase as well. Let's move on. Okay, you're doing well. You've got here so far, so well done. Well done. Okay, to do in the past simple. There are many verbs which are irregular in the past simple. One of the most important regular English verbs is the verb to do. Here is the verb to do, conjugated, conjugated, conjugated. Three syllables there. Hard. It's hard to pronounce it, even hard for me. I had to look at that and think, how am I going to pronounce it? Well, how we pronounce things, we use the vowel syllable method. The vowel syllable. Remember, our vowels are A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. So conjugated, conjugated. So there's three syllables there, conjugated. All contain a vowel. Con, O, Ju, U, gated, A and E. Three syllables. So basically, the vowel syllables, we break them down into little words, meaning we break them down into little words. So let's have a look. I did, you did, he, she, it did, we did, they did. If we look at all these as well, what part of speech are these? Are they nouns? Are they pronouns? Are they conjunctions? Are they prepositions? Are they adjectives? Are they interjections? Find out what type. Remember, you will get to a level, and you're possibly near this level now at 1.2, that you will be learning the 8 parts of speech because they contain all the words in the English language. And then once you've learned all the 8 parts of speech and what their features are, what they do, then you learn each part of speech. So when I say each part of speech, I mean each different part of speech. So the different types of verbs, the different types of adverbs, okay, the different types of nouns, plural nouns, definite nouns, indefinite nouns. And that's how you progress with your grammar. So let's have a look at this. So just like the regular verbs in the past simple, has the same conjunction for each subject pronoun. So I and did, you and did, he, she, it did, we did, they did. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Negating. Negating in the past simple. The verb to do is important. It's very important because we use it to form the past simple negative. We use it to form the negative. To construct to the past simple negative, we first need to contract. We make it a contract. That word contract means that it is a contraction word. It's short form word. It becomes a short form word. It becomes a contraction word. So negate is by adding the word not, which is the negative. So try and remember when you see not in a sentence, or you see a contraction with a not, okay, it is a negative sentence. So we contract it from did not to didn't. And how we do this is by doing this. The contraction is basically this. Apostrophe. Now this is an apostrophe. The apostrophe tells us a few things. The apostrophe tells us it's a short form word. By using the apostrophe, it tells us it's a short form word. That short form word tells us that short form word is called a contraction. It's called a contraction word. The contraction also tells us when it's a short form word, not only is it negative if it's a not short form word, it also tells us it's informal. We wouldn't use, so for example, if you have a resume or a CV, you wouldn't use an apostrophe, making it informal. Now, remember, most apostrophes make it informal because they make it short form, but there are some apostrophes that we use within a word that doesn't make it short form. For example, mothers. So if we Mothers apostrophe or Mother apostrophe S, that doesn't mean it's short form. That's a different type of grammar. That makes it's a possessive. So something, this pen belongs to mother. It's mother's, okay? It's mother's pen. Mother apostrophe S. It's not short form, it's a possessive, and it usually is called, if it's mother's, it's a possessive noun. So if we look at the negatives here, we've got I did not. We're changing it to I didn't. You did not. You didn't. He did. He, she, it did not. He, she, it didn't. You did not. We didn't. Sorry, we did not. We didn't. They did not. They didn't. Okay, so again, remember, and try and think in a simplistic way. Always remember, most of the times, if it has an apostrophe, it's a short form word. If it's a short form word, it's a contraction word. If it's a contraction word, especially with the not, it's a negative. But whatever, if it's a contraction word with or without the not, it makes it informal. Okay, so that's how your cognitive brain would start to think once you grow in confidence and your grammar gets better and better and more. You have more understanding. You've got more grasp of the grammar. So negating in the past simple, after the conjugated form of didn't, we simply put the infinitive of the verb that we want to negate. This doesn't change the word. Okay, it doesn't change the word order of the rest of the sentence. So here we've got I watched a lot of television last night. So again, This is just past simple, really. I watched a lot of TV, but it's past time simple. Okay, time as in last night. It's telling us when it specifically did it. So I didn't. If we're changing it to a negative, negating it, which basically negating is negative. So if we're changing it to a negative, all we're doing is adding the apostrophe here, okay. Making it short form, making it a contraction, which is the contraction, which is a negative, making it informal. I didn't watch a lot of television last night. So again, I do stress try and use formal and informal appropriately. So for example, another example, if you were going for an interview for a job, you would say, I am Anthony from the UK. You wouldn't say, I'm Anthony from the UK. Why? Well, I'm is informal, and you don't know that person really, and it's supposed to be professional, so you would say it in a formal way. Does it matter? Maybe not in all industries, because they like, possibly if it's a startup company, they're probably looking for somebody that they can work with, okay, that they would be friends with, that they like. So but in a big corporate institution, it'd be more formal. And it might just cost you a job, because there might be two Anthonys, okay, who have the same education, the same experience. Which one do we choose? I like them both. Do we choose Anthony 1 or Anthony 2? If the HR, the human resource person, is very, very good at their job, they should really choose the person that chooses the correct grammar, which is formal. So I am Anthony from the UK. Might not be the right choice, but unfortunately, grammar is very, very important, even though it's confusing. Okay, let's move on. So read the sentences, read them, speak them. Don't just read them, speak them. As I said, kill 4 birds with 1 stone. By reading, speaking. Well, kill 3 birds with 1 stone. Reading, speaking, listening here. Okay. Any words we don't know, find out the words. Find out a similar word. So you're learning more vocabulary. You're not just having a look at the word. You don't know what wart means. Obviously, we will know what wart means. We all walk. So find out a similar word that we could use instead of wart. What could we use instead of wart without changing the context of that sentence, without changing the sentence one bit? What word could we? We can't use I ran up the stairs, can we? Because it's not walking. It's running. It's a past of run. Okay, ran. I ran up the stairs. So find out, and it will help you progress with similar. Not so. Don't just find out what one word means. Find out the synonym words, the similar words, and by doing that, type it into Google. Type in the meaning. What's the meaning of walked? Okay, or type into AI. Use AI, or use the old-fashioned. What I used to have to use the dictionary, the Oxford Dictionary, or I think Oxford is still possibly the main one, but there's a lot of tools out there, so use them. Okay, we're going now to important irregular verbs. Another one of the most important irregular verbs is to go, conjugated into the past simple, to go. So I went, you went, he, she, it went, we went, they went. To go meaning went. Turning it to past simple. We're turning it to past. So again, speak the sentences. Not only read them, speak them. I went on holiday last month. I didn't go on holiday last month. What is didn't? Can we remember? Didn't is a negative. It's also short form. It's also called a contraction. It's also making it informal. So the past simple negative forms. We've got the past simple negative forms here. So observe the table below on this slide. Observe the table below to see how positive and negative statements are formed in the past simple. So the positive, I went to Italy last month. Negative, I didn't go to Italy last month. Again, we're changing it, aren't we? It's negative because we've got the not in the sentence. So again, try and remember, whenever we see a not in a sentence, it is a negative. Okay, so read all these for me and speak them. In fact, make a sentence with this one as well. Make a sentence, a different sentence with when. Make a different sentence with stayed. Make a different sentence with needed. And then change them different sentences that you've made into negatives as well. So remember, practice makes perfect. So here we're getting to negate these sentences. So I went on holiday last summer. What would it be? So we're moving on to slides where we're going to describe what happened. And again, pat yourselves on the back. You're doing well. I wish, I know quite a few languages with traveling in the world, but I only learned the basics. I wish I was at this level in maybe Thai that I know, maybe Mandarin that I know. I wish I was at your level, A1.2. I just know the basic words. So, well done. So, describe what happened or didn't happen within the photo, within this slide. So, we describe what happened or didn't happen. Remember, it didn't happen, negative. Describe what happened or didn't happen in this photo. Describe what happened in this photo or didn't happen. And then let's complete the table. So, walk. What's the past simple of walk? What's the past simple of play? What's the simple? Sorry. What's the past simple of watched? Write the verb in the past simple. So we write the verb again. Write it. Don't just think it. Write it. Because you can once you've wrote it, you can save these lessons as a review. Okay. So if you're taking an exam or you need to review to well, you just need to review because, as I mentioned, practice does make perfect. And it's like when we were babies, how we got taught. We got taught by retention, repeat. Retention is repeat, 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 repeat. So, sorry, not retention, repetition, repetition. Sorry, see, we all make mistakes. Okay, transform the sentences to the past simple. Again, write them down for me. Find the verbs. We've got to find the verbs in the lesson and write them down. Well, there's quite a few verbs. Just write the verbs down that you can remember off the top of your head and speak them. So in this lesson, we've covered the past simple regular verbs, how to explore them and form them, and use a past simple tense for regular verbs to describe completed actions in the past. We've also learnt to conjugate regular verbs in the past simple with ed, en, from en to ed, from y, we've used them from the y, using the IED. We've turned the verb from the y to the IED. And we've also learnt through various exercises and examples, you've practiced forming sentences to reinforce the understanding and ensure that you can accurately use the past tense. Remember, the tenses are quite difficult. They're quite confusing for the simple reason there's 16 tenses, 4 modal verb tenses, 4 past tenses, 4 future tenses, 4 present tenses. If you were a regular in my class, whether it be in a classroom or whether it be online, and we were teaching the tenses, I would teach in a simplistic way. I teach them not individually. I do individually the ones as well, but I usually teach them in blocks of 3. So, for example, we know it's a continuous tense when we see the structure of a verb plus the verb ing, because the verb ing makes it continuous. Now we've got to just work out what the first auxiliary verb is. Is it a past? Is it a present? Is it a future? Again, easy way to remember in blocks of 3. If it's future, now it could be future continuous, future perfect, future simple. If it's a future tense, the auxiliary verb will be either will or going to. Okay, so by remembering that future tenses are will or going to, you remembered 3 basic tenses there. Okay, then you've just got to work out whether it's continuous, whether it's perfect, whether it's simple. And it does come together, but I see students when they get to your level and they can structure a sentence, subject, verb, object, then they try to expand their sentences, and then they confuse themselves by questioning themselves. Oh, is that past simple perfect, or is that past simple continuous? Try and remember what makes it continuous, what makes it perfect. Okay, hope you enjoyed the lesson, and keep it up. Remember, practice makes perfect. We do remember EFL Academy hub.com. We're a new concept, but we're growing. We are growing quite big. So we're possibly one of the main online courses that offer a 1 hour 50-minute tutorial, live tutorials. Okay, and the reason that we've introduced that is because I know it works. We as teachers have been out we've done summer camps, and within the summer camps, our last summer camp was in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, where we invited lots of Saudi Arabian, Yemen students over to learn the Oxford curriculum. Now, we did lessons in 1 hour 50 minutes because we felt that would engage them more, give them all time, give them more time, give us more time to deliver, give them more time to process. And when we did the studies afterwards, we asked them, what do you prefer? Do you prefer 30-minute classes, 60-minute classes, or 150-minute classes? They said if they had the time, they would prefer the 150-minute classes because you are nervous. It relaxes you after 5-10 minutes, okay? And then you get into it, and then you engage. It gives you more time to engage, more time to ask, more time for the teacher to deliver. But we do all classes. We do corporate classes as well. We have courses, self-taught courses. We have courses like this, which are self-taught and self-recorded, where the teacher will self-record the lesson as well. So I hope you enjoyed it. Keep at it. Practice makes perfect. Keep smiling. Take care. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.